Alrighty, I want to show you what is the light source directly over my head. This is the John B. Roberts fire station. While I'm on my podcast, I'm over here standing, well, my property is across the street, but I was standing over there, which you can see where I took a picture of Summers, who's group stalking at the library. I was standing on that side by the stop sign. This is the light source that's remaining squarely above my head. This is what the entity does during the day. It keeps remaining directly over my head, and 8YZL226 is touching with directed light while they are group stalking crossing path, and they're monitoring with that sex offender who's going to federal prison. That's Summers, okay, who engaged in assault and battery with Stephanie Ortiz, molesting with that demon-possessed third-party group stalker. Under what is the fake sun at 2:22 p.m. This is the same fire station that I stood in front of at 9:07 a.m. And where did you see that light source at 9:07 in the morning? It was right there over the roof, in alignment with me, which is what the entity does in the morning. It's on this side of me, in alignment with my face, essentially. And then during the day, it's right above my head. And then at the end of the day, what do you capture? What have I already captured here at this same venue? In front of the same fire station. You have what was the light source that was right in alignment with me here as I stood on this very same sidewalk, okay? This is the entity that keeps a fake sun over me from the beginning of the day till the end of the day, which I've also documented in Fontana. I'm also referencing again, 5:02 p.m. I stand here documenting the Fontana Chamber of Commerce. This is not possibly the sun. It's 2:23 p.m. and documentation as of 9:07 a.m. The light source, which is not possibly the sun. The entity keeping a light source over me, again, you're talking about what is 7 o'clock in the evening, as I just documented the other day, and the entity is touching the underneath the amphitheater, the Miller Amphitheater over there with direct light. The entity is keeping the light source, touching a directed light across the street. You're seeing the demons that are the third parties crossing path, directed light in front of their vehicles while they are group stalking. And this is, again, 2:22 p.m. It's right here over my head. You're talking about what is over 5 hours later, where it's going to remain in alignment with the entrance of that library. No, that's not the sun. That is not possibly the sun. That's called stalking in the path. As I've shown you what the entity does, keeps it over my head during this time of the day, and which is supposed to be, again, setting in the west while it remains over my body on whatever is the west side of my person. This is the Miller Amphitheater, where the entity is touching the Miller Amphitheater after 7:05 p.m. is where I captured that video. This is 2:24 p.m. This is the entity that is not keeping the fakes, and everything you're going to gather from this, the entity is not placing the fake sun over the roof, which is the case when I'm inside. What did I capture at 2:22 p.m. while I remained inside of that Fontana Lewis Library? This fake sun is directly above my head while I'm showing you that light source while I'm sitting inside of the library. The light source is remaining in alignment with me, as you see Summers, a group stalker affiliated with the Fontana Police Department, where I went over there already earlier, and the entity kept that fake sun over me, not the sun, speaking to what is demon possession, speaking to what is a state facilitating venue where state surveillance and terrorism is underway, unhindered, underway at what is a state facilitating venue, and the demons that are the Fontana Police Department engaging in that conduct, in that system. And then they're here engaging in what is group stalking in plain sight. This is referred to as an impermissible threat. All right, and this is also beginning, understand this, the light source, the actual sun, would never be present here in a different position when I'm inside of the Fontana Lewis Library at 2:22 p.m. And also remaining what is at that same position when I'm inside of the Fontana Lewis Library at 7:05 p.m. Okay, this is Seville on the opposite side where you see the water fountain. This is the pattern of conduct that I documented today. Stephanie Ortiz is engaging in what is the ongoing harassment and terrorism by an entity while she is monitoring. She's a sex offender, and she's monitoring me while my panties are down with those males who are congregated outside of a women's restroom with the government that I documented, again, on more than one occasion, stalking me by helicopter at this same exact venue. And specifically yesterday, at 6:36 p.m., flying around in circles while I'm inside of the library. How did I know that there was a helicopter? Because the entity was amplifying the sound of helicopter, and then I got up and captured video for you to witness yourself. That is the police, the Fontana police that are group stalking by helicopters in Fontana, under what is not possibly the sun, that at 2:22 p.m. is remaining over me while I am in Rancho Cucamonga, okay? And the entity is keeping a light source over me at 2:22 p.m. while I am remaining in what is Upland, California, okay? Very specific over my head in mutually exclusive locations. Even as you keep it here in Fontana, isolating it to the P.O.C. here. When I'm inside of the Fontana Lewis Library and I'm on the second floor and I'm looking out that direction, the fake sun's not over here behind me. I wouldn't be able to see it over my head. because that's exactly where it is, where the entity is aiming impossible light inside of that, on that second floor of that library, where demons, while I'm sitting at computer number FONADULT 14, they're group stalking in the book stacks, just like they're group stalking out here in the parking lot. That's the same demon sitting in the computer lab where the entity placed the fake sun over that window right there, right over my head. He's out here group stalking with the Fontana police. All right, and doing so under what is the light source. So this is 2:27 p.m., starting this at 2:22 p.m., illustrating a point. You're stalking in the path, you're engaged in state surveillance and terrorism. This is what is in violation of existing federal law. Stephanie Ortiz engaging in what is an additional act of criminal summoning while she is monitoring me as my panties are down. She is the perpetual sex offender, as is Officer Summers. And let me be clear, I have no respect for what are demons that are engaging in criminal conduct. This is the title that Satan is going by. He is listening to every word that I'm saying, in the same way he was group stalking before Stephanie Ortiz engaged in the criminal act of summoning the entity that's already engaged in surveillance. That's why you have the impossible occurring. That's why the entity fills this venue, as I've documented in a plethora of videos, flashing directed light all through the venue. Okay, that's terrorism. Stephanie Ortiz is going to federal prison. The people of the state, as I've documented, you're understanding what is the precedent, the template, and how you will treat the demon-possessed population who is engaging in this unprecedented level of terrorism and harassment, while the government is threatening your life, stalking with helicopters, stalking with the people of the state who are demons, 5 P.O.C. 509, engaging in literally, this is the criminal act. These are demons who are pacing. Going in opposite directions, they're pacing. And engineer light, 6XHH 703. And Summers is group stalking irrelevant position. And they're doing so under what is the light source. That's not over the library, it's right here over me. 70PW 644. Directed light on the ground while they're crossing path. While they're group stalking inside of the library, the entity is maintaining the fake sun over the building and aiming directed light inside of the building. All right, this is an impermissible threat. Summers, who I caught in close up of, they're going to federal prison. The fake sun is over their police station. They are indeed puppets of Satan. This is speaking to what is obstructing justice, but it will in no way obstruct what is the result, and they are going to federal prison. This is P.O.C.